Hello friends, welcome to our channel. So today we are going to learn HTML step by step. So this video is purely for beginners, those who do not have any coding experience, prior experience. If you have not coded, don't worry, this is the perfect video for you to start. So today we are going to learn some of the basics of HTML. We are going to learn step by step, and also those who are studying in schools or colleges, it's absolutely fine. You can watch this video and you can start your programming career. Also, non-IT people also, if you want to learn basics of programming, so HTML is the best one to start with. So let's go to the topic. What is HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. So today we are living in a digital world, where everything, we go to the internet and access as websites. So if you take any website, HTML will be the building block of any website. So HTML gives the structure for the website. I can give you some example. If you take Amazon.in, so this website, you can see some button here, some picture here, and here some picture, some text here. So some text box here and some drop down here. So these are all nothing but an elements. So behind every website, HTML will be part of it. So that gives the structure for any website. Even if you take this Google website, this is one element. It can be an image, and this is a text box, and these are all some icon links, where you click on this, it will navigate to a different page. So these are all nothing but the HTML. So we are going to learn this today, we are going to learn the basics of the HTML. So here I've chosen Visual Code as the editor. I'm not sure whether most of you know this editor. So I have installed. So this is one of the powerful editor, or a simple lightweight editor in the market for open source development, and for all web technologies, for HTML programming we can go out with this. So this is the Visual Studio Code. So I have already installed this editor in my machine. So editor is nothing but a tool which is used for development. So any developer has to use some kind of editor to do the programming and then run the program and see the output. So here I've used Visual Studio Code as editor. You can go to Google and type Visual Studio Code download, and go to this link, and you can download this. It's very simple to download and easy to use. So I've given the link over here in the download section. So in this readme file, you can just go ahead. So you can download this, and we need to just add a small piece after once you install this, which I'll be telling, so that it will be easier for us to do the HTML development. So this is the agenda for us today. In HTML, how to create heading tags or heading element, paragraph element, then HTML links, hyperlinks, HTML image, button. So these are things which we are going to see now. And also I have given some more references that I'm going to use in the project. So I'll just to make it even more easier for you, I'll close this project. I've already opened this one folder, so I'll close this folder. So once you open a Visual Studio Code, so once you install Visual Studio Code, so you type here, you'll get the visual. So this blue color symbol, this icon is the icon for this editor. So we need to right click and say run as administrator, so that when this Visual Studio Code opens, it will open here. You can see it's an administrator, so that some folders in the machine, C folder, we won't have write permission sometimes, we cannot modify or edit a file, so it's better always good to open in as an administrator. So I've opened this Visual Studio Code. Now we are going to move to the folder where we are going to write the code. So I've already created a folder in my F drive, like HTML is the folder, and inside the HTML I have some files, like where images folder I have kept some 3 files. Media is one of the folder where I have kept some audio and video files. So other than this, I have kept some 2 files for help, just for like one is the completed. After this, like video, like whatever we are going to learn, everything is put in the HTML completed, and this is just to help me during this demo. And readme.md, like this what all we are going to learn, I put as a like step-by-step things, so that like it will be easy for us to follow later. So like we need to copy this URL and go to this Visual Studio Code and click on this. Either we can click on the open folder here. Just click on this and select this folder. So just it's like you have to open that folder. So and whatever folders and files I showed you here, like we can see everything over here in this section. So this is the place where like you can see the files in this project. So even like mistakenly if you closed it, like you can click on this to open. So this is the place like where you it will show your working directory or working project, and this is a place to like search the files. If you want to search something, you can search over here, and this probably we can learn later. And so there is something called in Visual Studio Code, there are something, this icon stands for extensions. So in our for our like HTML development now, like there are 2 extensions we are going to use actually, which will help us to simplify our work. Like just add this, like later I'll tell you why we are adding that. So one is the LifeServer. See, like if you have not installed, it will show us install. We need just click on install and do the installation. But for LifeServer I've already installed it, so that's why it's not showing that green button. So in your case, like when you open after installing Visual Studio Code and open the project folder, like just go search for this extension. So again I'll tell you, like this is the icon to click on extensions, to search for the extension and type LifeServer, and then go over here and click install. So this is the first extension we have to install. And extension is nothing but like it will like make our editor, that is the Visual Studio Code, little more intelligent. By default, like since this Visual Studio Code supports lots of programming technologies like Angular, HTML, React.js, ASP.NET Core, lots of open source, Python. So this is a common editor. So like if you want to convert this to specific to some Angular or to make your life easier during programming, so we can install whichever extensions we need. The second thing we need is like the TypeScript Emmet or Angular 2 TypeScript Emmet. So we are not doing any Angular programming here, but still this is this will help us to do our development a little faster, HTML development. So that's the reason I'm asking you to install this. So I'll tell you why we need this shortly. So click install this. So these are the 2 extensions we are installing. Then you can just click on this and come over here to see our project files. So that's it. So we are pretty good. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to start from scratch. Like I'm going to add a new file. So any file in web technologies these days, like will have index.html. So we have created this, an empty file. So HTML, like it has a basic structure. Like I'll tell you the structure it has. It will start with a tag called HTML. So any tag, any element or like the word that we are writing, this is called a tag. So it should have a open and close bracket. And once you write that, like we should have an equivalent closing tag for the tag which you are writing. Like so, the closing tag should have /HTML. So if I'm saying like a ABCD, so it should have ABCD. So that's about it. So the HTML it starts with HTML, and then we have something called head section, and we have something called body section. So these are the two important sections in a HTML programming. Head section, like we can refer to some CSS files or some outside external CSS files or JavaScript files. Even it can be within the same project, or it can be an outside external link. So everything we can refer over here, head section. But the main part is the body tag. So here only we are going to learn something like so this there is something called h1, and this is for heading. So if you want in a page, if you want to have some bigger text, like you should have something like a h1. So these are nothing but elements over here in like in HTML. So this is the basic structure of it. So if you ask me, like, should I need to type all this, like will the editor not help me? Like if you ask me this, yes, definitely. Like for this only we installed something like Angular 2 TypeScript Emmet. That is like in Visual Studio Code, there is something called Emmet abbreviation. So the moment you see when I type H, it is listing all this. So this is nothing but like Emmet abbreviation. So since I have installed this Emmet, that's the reason it's showing me see all the elements within the HTML. So if I just press H1 and close it, it will automatically write me the closing ending tag. Otherwise we need to even type this. So that's simple. So there is one very basic and useful one. If you type it, see exclamation, even you can see here this is an Emmet abbreviation. So if you press exclamation and press tab in your keyboard, then we'll get the very basic structure of the HTML. So we did not type HTML head section, body section again and again. So just for you to understand, like type exclamation, see to that you are getting this. If you are not getting this, then probably you won't get the code, and you need to press the tab key in your keyboard, so you'll get the basics HTML. So that's it, like pretty much. So in the head section, as I told you before, we'll have some tags. Like one of the important tag is like HTML, the title tag. So for your document, at the top we can see the title of the web page. Like we can see this. So we'll see that later. Like the another thing is, like we are going to run this like HTML file. So there are two ways of running it. One is like go to the project folder, like where index.html is there, right click, and you can say open with Google Chrome. So I would suggest like to use Google Chrome. Like that's a good tool for like developing websites. So if you see here, like I've opened the Visual Studio Code and the browser also, like side by side, so that we can understand what's happening. So it's an empty page. So here if you see, like EF drive, this is my folder and index.html. So this is how it will open actually. So this is one way of opening, but we are going to see one more easier way, because like if you do this, like every time when we write some code, like it will not reflect immediately. So there is another way from Visual Studio Code which will make our life easier. So you remember, like I asked you to install like LifeServer, which we already installed. So this will help us to run the program and see the output immediately. So if we right click over here, there is something called open with LifeServer. Once we install the LifeServer extensions, then only you can see this you can see this like open with LifeServer option. Otherwise you won't be able to see in the, even if you right click over here, you won't be able to see. So for this only we need to install the extension. So if I click over this, so now it will open this HTML, index.html. It will compile and show the result in a server. Actually this stands for some temporary local server and followed by index.html. So this will make our life easier. So you can see over here the name of the title of this document. So here we'll see like HTML, the HTML step by step. So you can see that title over here. So all set for our learning. So now we'll move on to the basics of HTML quickly. So I'm just copying the things that we are going to learn, so just to ease up the process. So all our coding, like HTML coding, will be within, mostly will be within the body, and a few times when we need to refer to some CSS or JavaScript, that we'll be doing over here. So let's start. So the first element that we are going to learn is heading element. So as I told you before, there is something called header, h1, h2, h3 elements. If you see heading 1, if I type over here, see, so you can see the output immediately. So that's the reason I told you to install LifeServer. So once you keep the LifeServer and run it here, the moment we start typing and finish the typing, it will show the output. And there is one more reason for it. You need to select this option also. There is an auto save option. You need to check it. So the moment you type and leave it, it will auto save the file, and the result will be shown over here. So we can see that we saw the output of heading. So there is something called h2 element. So you can see the difference. H1 stands for a bigger font, and bigger for the topmost heading, in the page, the top header of the page. You can use that, and this you can use it for the secondary heading. And then we have something called h3, h4, so you can use for paragraph headings and etc, etc. So this is all about heading tag. So you can see, since it's a header, whatever text we are writing, it will come in the next line actually. So that will help us sometime, most of the time. Yeah, next we'll move on to a paragraph, how to write a paragraph. So there is something called PE element, P tag. So I've written that P tag. Within that, if I say this is a paragraph, so and leave it, see it's if you want to write some sentence in your website, if you want to write some paragraph, can be one liner, multiple liner, so I can even give you I'm going to write one more paragraph, and this is my second paragraph. So this will print in as a second paragraph, but still it's not looking like a paragraph, it's looking like a sentence. So to generate characters, there is a shortcut in Emmet abbreviation. Like I told you before, we need to type lorem, and we need to write how many characters we need. I think some of you might be familiar in the website, something called lorem. This is to auto generate some characters for our development actually. So some paragraphs for the development. If I put 30 and press tab, it will generate lorem ipsum paragraph with 30 characters. So now it looks like a paragraph. That's awesome. So now if I want some bigger paragraph, I can even put lorem 100, and we can generate. So now it looks like a paragraph actually. So that's cool. Now we'll move on to the next element, which is HTML link, or it can also be called as hyperlink. So it's we should do it's with the A tag. So it's like a it should be there, and it should be followed by we'll learn about HTML attributes. Here href stands for attribute. Within the opening and close bracket after the element, so we need to write attribute. We'll learn what is an attribute. For now, we'll say www.google.com. You can say Google over here. See, now we've got a hyperlink we see in many websites, where see if I navigate over here, it shows where to navigate. So I should type since it's with the LifeServer, I should type HTTP. Okay, perfect. So it's even navigating to the website. So like in your HTML website which you are designing, if you want to navigate from one page to another page, either it can be in your website, within your website, or it can be another website. So now we are navigating from our test website to the Google website, so google.com. So it's awesome. Like this is called as HTML link. Now we'll move on to like a HTML image, how to see like a there are some tags like which doesn't have like a closing one, like so images, something like that tag. Like so here image, it should have something called a source attribute, and let's have an image for so I've kept some images in my images folder. So images / HTML file. Even see, the moment we type, we select the image, like it has come, like the image has come. It's very huge actually. So we'll set some width as 70. By default it's px actually. So the moment we set width, it's good. Like even we can set the height also, like 70 px. Okay. And there is something called alt keyword, like this is like this is a picture. We can give some name for it in case if the picture is corrupted, if it is not shown, probably like it will display that text for us. See, like I purposely removed the name. I've given an incorrect image which doesn't exist over here. It's HTML file. So since it couldn't find, it's displaying the text that we have defined over here. So it's better, it's always good to have the alt attribute also defined over here. So still we have not seen what is an attribute. We will be covering like shortly. So now the next thing is like we are going to see how to have we saw a link here, hyperlink. We saw a image, but some places, like you must have seen an image, when we click on it, it will act like a hyperlink. It will navigate to another page. So it's like clubbing the hyperlink and the image. So we'll just see how to do that. It's like href, let's say http facebook.com. So within that, like we should have a image source. So it's like you should have an image element within a hyperlink element. So I'm going to take the images like from images folder. I'm going to take the Facebook image. So we have got, I'm just going to bring it over here actually, just to make it readable. I don't have much space. So we'll set the width of it. I'll keep the width as 100. So we've got the width. So we have an image within a hyperlink. So now you can see the difference. If I scroll my mouse over here in the HTML file, it's showing as an arrow, whereas if I scroll here, it's showing as a clickable one. So that's the difference. Like it's a image link, hyperlink. So when I click here, it will navigate us to the Facebook. So that's pretty cool, awesome. So next we'll learn like how to create a button in HTML. So there is something called button, and we can give them like click me. So it's a very simple button, like even just whatever name we need to display in the button we need to give over here. Even there is one more way of creating a button using input element. So but I think that's pretty much cool. So next we are going to learn like how to add an icon in a button, within a button. So I'm going to write button, let it be a save button. So the text is saved, so you can see the text is saved. But I want to add an icon actually, so I'm going to teach you how to add an icon. So for that I'm going to use a third-party one, like which is a FontAwesome icons. So if you know how to use it, like it will be good for like all your websites, whenever whichever language you are coding, like it can be ASP.NET or React.js, AngularJS, like a FontAwesome. We can use this as a common one to. They have some predefined like a set of icons. Like if we navigate to this page, FontAwesome icons, and go over here, they have a huge like I think a good collection of images. So there is a search one, like we can search over here. If I just click on save, so it gives us a floppy icon. So how to use it, we can just see like so they have given a code also. We can just copy over this over here, and before our text within the button element, like we should have something like this. So it's an I tag followed by a class, and it's FA stands for FontAwesome, and this stands for the save icon. But immediately, like if you see the result, it is still not working, because like we should add a reference. This is from a third party actually, so we need to add a reference in our website. So we have to search like FontAwesome 4.7. 4.7 stands for the latest version. We should check for the CDN link. CDN link is easier to add in the website. So they might be providing us like how to use that. So using CSS, like so this we need to add in our website. So this we have. Just I'm changing the one with. I've already taken the CSS. There is a small change in it. So that's pretty cool. The moment we added the CDN website, REL style sheet, and also if we specify the type also, it is well and good. So we need to add it over here, and see now you can see like the image coming over here. It's good. Like we can change different images for the type of icons we have, type of functionality. Actually I was interested in adding, not in click me, I wanted to add it over here actually. So you can see that that's got added here. Yeah, it's cool. So now we'll move on to the next element, like which is HTML list. There are two types of lists. It's ordered and unordered. So first we'll see the unordered list, which is nothing but like the list comes with bullet points. So UL, the parent should be UL, and the items within that should be LI. So if we have red, blue, green, I'm just copying for. So this is our list. So we have got our list over here: red, blue, and green, and it's a bullet. Like it's a unordered one. We'll be seeing the ordered list shortly. So you see the ordered list, like so instead of UL, it will be OL, and within that it is again a red, blue, and green. So we'll have it as 1, 2, and 3. So the difference is like here it's a bullet list, and here it's like numbers like 1, 2, 3. This is like a ordered list. So I put this in a different section. Okay. So now moving on to the next one, like sometimes when you type paragraph, like say like I have a paragraph, like this is my paragraph 1. It's my paragraph 2. So we have some space, but if I want to leave more space, like I can add a BR statement. See, the moment you add more BR, it will add some more space. So this will be useful for us to position some content together or leave some space. So this will be very much useful. So the next thing we are going to learn is the horizontal line. So it's similar to BR. It's a very simple one. Like So it's a HR. The moment we say HR, like you can see a line being drawn. It's not very clear, so I'm adding a BR after that. So some spaces. So we want horizontal lines. Like if I want to draw one more line, I can add. So now you can see 2 lines over here. So it will be pretty good if I have a paragraph lorem 50, because like within paragraphs, if we need a line, we can see like it looks awesome. So within this paragraph, on the at the start and the end, I am drawn a horizontal line. So HR tag element will be used for this. Next, we will move on to attributes, HTML attributes. So earlier we saw some attribute I'll teach you with some button. I'll say red. The name display the text is red. So by button default color is gray color and the text is black. So now we are going to see change style. Style is one of the attributes. So any element will have some keywords like this. So which is nothing but the properties, which will help to change the structure or the look and feel or size of that element. So here, if I say background color as red, so see the background. So now we have changed the property of this button by using the style attribute. We have given the background color as red. So similarly, we will have lots of attributes which will help to change the structure of any element. So like we saw earlier, like an image tag which has let me take the image. I'll take from the images folder. It's a YouTube image. So by default, see like this is the size. So one of the attributes, so even this src is an attribute. So it helps us to select what image we want to show in this image element. And one more attribute we can say is width. We can say 100. So the moment we set this, it changes the size of the element. So the attributes are nothing but like they are properties which helps us to change the appearance or structure or of the element. So the next thing we are going to learn is like a pre-tag. So this is useful for like if you want to most of the time, like whatever text we are giving will be formatted as one line in a sequential way from left to right, or as a paragraph, like but sometimes like imagine you want to write some poem, like just copy some text over here. So imagine you want to like have a formatted one, something like this. So if you want the output to be in this format, so you do not want to come as a paragraph, like then we should add it within the pre-tag. So now if you see, it looks like more in the format which we have defined with some space and like a poem it is there. So depending on your needs, like if you are writing some code or some highlighted text in a website news channel, like we can probably use this. Next, moving on to styles. Styles. So already we saw something like a style. Style is one of the attribute of the element. So I think we already saw this, but still we'll see like how to add. So earlier we changed the background color of the button. Like now, say this font color is green. We are adding a button where we are going to change the font color of the button to be green actually. So no, like it's just color actually. So So if I type green over here, if I set green for the color property within the style attribute, so the font color of this has changed to green. So it's you can say dark green. Okay, fine. Make it big. So the font color has changed to green. Okay. So most of the things, like as per our agenda, we saw like we have a few more things like so sometimes, like whatever we saw, it always started from the left side, like but you may want something to be started at the right side, aligned to the right or center. So there are two ways of achieving it in HTML. We have a concept called table, where we can define rows, columns, etc. But now recently the web technology has moved with an element called a div tag. So we learn how to align the text or group the text with a div tag. So within a div tag, like so I am going to have a paragraph, like a paragraph aligned left. I have a paragraph like which says paragraph aligned left. So we are going to have 3 paragraphs. So one paragraph which is aligned left, one paragraph aligned middle, at the center, one paragraph to the right. And also we are going to see like how to add border to the div. So now it's not having any border. We are going to add a border to the div, and also we are going to add padding and margin. So we'll see one by one. So I'll have a style tag. So first thing is like align text align left. So the second thing I want to do is border 1px solid. I'll add black color for this. Third thing is padding. I'll add 5px. Fourth thing I want to do is margin. Which is again 5px. Okay. So we are pretty much done. I'm going to copy the same thing 3 times. The second one I'm going to text align center. Third thing like I'm going to do is text align right. And I'm going to change the border of the second one to green. Third one to brown. So the text also I'm going to change. Paragraph aligned to center. So that's cool. So now like see, you can see like earlier it was just a single if it is just a paragraph, like you can see it will always start from the left side sequentially 1 2 3 lines you would have seen. But now we saw how to like add a box and leave some space at the top. As you can see here, the space within the box, like the box is the div, and space within the box surrounding the text is nothing but the padding, and the space outside the box, let it be in the left side or in the top, like in the right side or bottom of the box or above the second box, they are called as the margin. So now to even see it much more clearer, like I'll make the margin as 15. And so now you can, now it's even more clearer, like now the space like outside the box like has become more like so in this way, like we can arrange the divs, like leave some space outside the box between the divs, so it will be very helpful. So moving into the last element, like so finding a few, like 2 elements are audio and the video. This is like one of the new components in HTML5. I have an audio file within the media folder, so it's inside this. So I'll be referring to that audio file. You should have a property called type and audio mp3. So the moment we see that, that's it. Like, it's very simple, like the audio component with the control. So here is the audio component. So if I start playing it, so it will play the audio. It's very easy. Component like is a video component. You should have video controls. Then there is something called autoplay property. Inside this, it's similar, like source is c equal to. I have a couple of video files. I take them one. You should have video in before. So now you can see, like, it started playing and also videos come, but the size is bigger, so we can set width equal to 300 px. So that's it. So we have a video player which is auto playing. So we can even remove this, or we can keep it. Okay. So that's it. Like so here is the thing which we have learned. Like we saw how to add a heading elements, paragraph, hyperlinks, image, buttons, audio, video, horizontal line, ordered and ordered list, button with an icon, etc. So I have given the download link, how to download the VS Code, and also what are the extensions we need to add for the VS Code, and also the third party thing that I've used, and so I've given the other references. So that's it. Like and thank you very much, guys. If you like this video, like please like it and leave your comments. If you need any help, like ask in the comment section, and do subscribe to receive more videos. I provided the code in the as a GitHub link in the video below, like under the video. So please take the code and do try from your end. Thank you very much.